The crisp October air swept through the cozy living room of Sarah Johnson's modest suburban home in Charlotte, North Carolina. At 45, Sarah was savoring a rare moment of quiet, her hands wrapped around a steaming mug of coffee, when her daughter, Mia, burst in, a senior at UNC Charlotte. Mia's face was a mix of nerves and determination, her hazel eyes gleaming with something big. Sarah assumed it was about job applications or grad school plans. Mia was always practical like that. But what came next stopped Sarah's world in its tracks. "Mom, I need to tell you something," Mia said, her voice trembling with purpose. "I'm getting married." Sarah's hand froze mid-sip, coffee nearly spilling. Married? Her 22-year-old daughter, who'd been laser-focused on her business degree, was dropping this bombshell? To who? Sarah asked, her voice steady but her heart racing. "Lucas Bennett," Mia replied, a shy smile breaking through. "He graduated with me, and now he's an engineer at a construction firm here in Charlotte." Lucas Bennett. The name rang a faint bell. Mia had mentioned him in passing, study groups, coffee runs, but Sarah had chalked it up to college friendships. The idea that Mia had been dating him for 2 years, without a hint to her mother, hit like a punch. "How long have you two been together?" Sarah asked, trying to mask the pang of hurt that her daughter hadn't confided in her. "About 2 years," Mia admitted, her gaze dropping to the floor. "I wanted to tell you, Mom, but it never felt like the right time." The words stung. Sarah had prided herself on being Mia's rock, her confidant through every scraped knee and teenage heartbreak. Had she been so consumed by her own world, running her company, juggling endless responsibilities, that she'd missed this massive shift in her daughter's life? The thought gnawed at her, but she pushed it aside. "You're sure about this?" she asked gently. Mia nodded, her eyes bright. "I love him, Mom, and we're meeting his parents soon. Will you come with me?" Sarah's heart softened, no matter how caught off guard she felt. She couldn't say no to Mia. "Of course, sweetheart," she said, forcing a smile. "I wouldn't miss it." A week later, Sarah and Mia pulled up to the Bennett family estate in Myers Park, one of Charlotte's most affluent neighborhoods. The wrought iron gates and sprawling brick mansion screamed old money, making Sarah's practical sedan feel out of place. She smoothed her blazer, suddenly hyper-aware of her simple attire. Inside, Lucas greeted them warmly, his quiet demeanor and kind eyes instantly putting Sarah at ease. At 24, he had the reserved charm of an engineer but spoke with a thoughtfulness that showed he adored Mia. Sarah liked him immediately. His love for her daughter was unmistakable. Then came Robert Bennett, Lucas's father, a towering man with a commanding presence. He introduced himself as the CEO of Bennett Construction, a powerhouse in the Southeast's building industry. His handshake was firm, his smile polite but calculating as he handed Sarah his business card. "I'm Sarah Johnson. I run a home services company," she said, meeting his gaze. Robert nodded, his expression one of faint amusement. "Home services, huh? Must be tough. Raising a kid on your own in that line of work. Single moms have it rough." His tone dripped with condescension, as if Sarah's life was a sob story. "But don't worry, Lucas has got a solid career. He'll take care of Mia, and you too, I imagine." Sarah's jaw tightened. She'd faced judgment before, but Robert's words cut deep, framing Mia's engagement as some kind of charity mission. Before she could respond, he launched into a monologue about a company he was eyeing for acquisition, Johnson Home Solutions. Started by some housewife with no real business sense, he said, puffing on a cigar. "They've got decent revenue, millions annually, but it's a mess. Poor cash flow, no strategy, all heart and no head. Classic case of a woman thinking she can run a company." Sarah's blood ran hot. Johnson Home Solutions was her company, built from nothing over a decade of grit and sacrifice. Robert didn't know he was insulting her to her face. Lucas, pale and fidgeting, tried to interject. "Dad, that's..." "Quiet, son," Robert snapped, waving him off. "I'm just stating facts. Women-led businesses like that one lack discipline. Too emotional, too soft on staff. If I took over, I'd cut the fluff, streamline operations, and triple their profits. Sarah forced a polite smile, her mind racing. Robert's arrogance was staggering. He assumed she was just a struggling single mom, not the founder of the very company he was trashing. She let him ramble, his words piling up like kindling for a fire she'd light later. "Thank you for the insight," she said coolly, her voice betraying none of the fury bubbling inside. She glanced at Lucas, who looked mortified, and gave him a subtle nod. Not yet. Sarah's journey to this moment had been anything but easy. 15 years ago, at 30, her world shattered. She'd been a stay-at-home mom, content in her quiet life with her husband, James, and their 7-year-old daughter, Mia. Then came the call from the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. James had been killed in a car accident. Gone in an instant. The life they'd built, modest but happy, crumbled overnight. The aftermath was a blur of grief and paperwork. Life insurance helped, but with a mortgage and Mia's future to secure, it wasn't enough. "Mommy, when's Daddy comin' home?" Mia's innocent question became Sarah's breaking point, and her resolve. She vowed to protect her daughter's future, no matter the cost. Sarah took on 3 jobs: cleaning offices at 4 a.m., cashiering at a local Food Lion during the day, and freelance data entry at night. Sleep was a luxury, 4 hours if she was lucky. Exhaustion threatened to swallow her. But Mia's voice, her, "You're doing great, Mom," after every long day, kept Sarah going. She carved out 30 minutes each night to talk with Mia, soaking in her stories of school and dreams of being an artist. Mia, wise beyond her years, took on small responsibilities, getting herself ready for school, doing her homework, making Sarah's load just a little lighter. Years passed, and their rhythm steadied. Mia thrived in school, her creativity blossoming, while Sarah honed her skills and saved what little she could. But as Mia neared high school, Sarah wrestled with a nagging fear. Was this enough? Could she support Mia's dreams, college, a career, on her patchwork income? The question haunted her until a chance encounter changed everything. At a local mall, Sarah ran into Claire Thompson, a college friend she hadn't seen in a decade. Over coffee, they swapped stories of survival. Claire, a single mom herself, was scraping by on freelance graphic design. "We should start something together," Claire said, half joking. But the idea stuck. Claire had done her homework. With Charlotte's growing population, dual-income families, and busy professionals, demand for home services, cleaning, meal prep, errand running, was skyrocketing. "Could we really do this?" Sarah asked, skeptical but intrigued. "You've been running a household and juggling 3 jobs," Claire replied. "You're a pro at this. We know what people need because we've lived it." They started Johnson Home Solutions on a shoestring, taking small jobs from neighbors. Sarah's cleaning expertise and Claire's knack for marketing made them a perfect team. Within 6 months, they hired 10 women, single moms, caregivers, women like them who'd faced life's punches. The company wasn't just a business, it was a lifeline, empowering its employees to reclaim their independence while serving the community. By Mia's sophomore year of high school, Johnson Home Solutions hit $100 in revenue. By her senior year, they'd incorporated, opened an office, and earned local media buzz. Mia, inspired by her mom, announced she wanted to study business to join the company one day. Sarah's heart swelled. Every sleepless night, every aching muscle had been worth it. Now, sitting across from Robert Bennett, Sarah felt the weight of her journey. She wasn't just a single mom or a housewife turned entrepreneur. She was a force, and no pompous tycoon would diminish that. As she left the Bennett estate, Sarah steeled herself. She'd protect Mia's happiness, and her own legacy, no matter what came next. The grand ballroom of the Ritz-Carlton in Charlotte glittered under crystal chandeliers, the air thick with the scent of roses and the hum of anticipation. Sarah Johnson, 45, sat near the back, her heart swelling as she watched her daughter, Mia, radiant in her white gown. At 22, Mia was a vision, her arm linked with Lucas Bennett, her new husband, whose quiet smile spoke volumes of his love. The wedding was a spectacle, a testament to the Bennett family's wealth and influence. But Sarah's focus was solely on Mia's happiness. Yet, as the reception unfolded, an unexpected storm brewed, threatening to cast a shadow over the day. The clink of glasses signaled the start of the speeches. Robert Bennett, Lucas's father and CEO of Bennett Construction, rose to his feet, his imposing figure commanding the room. At 60, Robert exuded old-school authority. His tailored suit and polished demeanor a stark contrast to Sarah's understated elegance. She braced herself, remembering their tense meeting at the Bennett estate weeks earlier, where Robert had dismissed her as a struggling single mom and trashed her company. Johnson Home Solutions, without knowing she was its founder. Ladies and gentlemen, Robert began, his voice booming, thank you for celebrating the union of my son, Lucas, and Mia. His smile was practiced, but his words soon took a sharp turn. To be honest, I'd always hoped Lucas would marry someone from a family of equal standing, a young woman from a distinguished background. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Mia's smile faltered, her fingers tightening around Lucas's hand. Sarah's stomach churned, sensing where this was headed. But as a father, Robert continued, I respect my son's choices. Mia's a lovely girl, and it's no small feat for someone raised by a single mother to win a man like Lucas. Women from less privileged backgrounds often learn how to secure a good match. It's a survival skill. The room fell silent, the air heavy with discomfort. Lucas's face drained of color. His jaw clenched. Mia's eyes glistened with unshed tears, her joy tainted by Robert's thinly veiled insult. Sarah's hands balled into fists, her nails digging into her palms. Robert wasn't done. Mia's hardships have clearly given her the wisdom to hold onto a man like Lucas, he said, chuckling as if it were a compliment. And Ms. Johnson, Sarah, you've done well raising her alone. Domestic work must have been tough, but it's built character. There's no shame in it. He paused, his gaze sweeping the room. Of course, there's a gap in status between our families, but love overcomes such things. From today, Mia, and you, Sarah, are part of the Bennett family. You won't need to struggle anymore. Lucas will provide, and we'll ensure you're taken care of. The words landed like a slap. Robert framed Sarah and Mia as charity cases, rescued by his son's generosity. The elite guests on the Bennett side, politicians, CEOs, shifted uncomfortably, while Sarah's small group of friends exchanged outraged glances. Robert raised his glass, to love that transcends class differences. The toast was met with hesitant clinks. The room's unease palpable. Sarah's heart pounded, but she kept her face composed. A skill honed through years of adversity. Then the MC's voice cut through. Next, we invite the mother of the bride, Miss Sarah Johnson, to speak. Mia turned to Sarah, her eyes pleading for strength. Sarah rose, her legs steady despite the tremor in her hands as she took the microphone. Every eye was on her, including Robert's, now tinged with confusion. She took a deep breath, her voice clear and resolute. Thank you all for being here to celebrate Mia and Lucas. Sarah began, her gaze sweeping the room. I'm Sarah Johnson, Mia's mother. 15 years ago, when Mia was 7, I lost my husband, James, in a car accident. Overnight, I became a single mother. With no savings, no safety net, just a little girl who needed me. The room hushed, captivated by her quiet intensity. Mia's tears spilled over, her hand clutching Lucas's S. It was brutal, Sarah continued. I'd been a stay-at-home mom, with no skills to fall back on. I took 3 jobs, cleaning offices at dawn, cashiering at a grocery store, data entry at night. I slept 4 hours if I was lucky. But Mia, her voice softened. She never complained. She'd greet me with a smile and say, "You're doing great, Mom." Her strength kept me going. Soft sobs echoed from the crowd. Sarah's eyes met Robert's, unflinching. 10 years ago, with my friend Claire Thompson, I started a company, Johnson Home Solutions. We began small, helping busy families with cleaning, errands, meal prep. Today, we have over 200 employees, serving clients across Charlotte, including Bennett Construction. A gasp rippled through the room. Robert's face froze, his cigar slipping from his fingers. Lucas gave Sarah a subtle nod, pride in his eyes. People often judge by appearances, Sarah said, her voice gaining power. For years, I was seen as just a single mom. But I never let those judgments define me. I built my path. And Mia watched me do it. That's why she grew into a woman worthy of a man like Lucas. Not because she climbed or survived, but because she's extraordinary. The room erupted in applause. Heartfelt and thunderous, Mia rushed to Sarah, embracing her tightly, tears streaming. Lucas followed, whispering, "Thank you." Robert stood stunned, his face ashen, hands trembling. Sarah returned to her seat, her heart steady. She'd reclaimed her dignity, and Mia's, in front of everyone. The fallout was swift and devastating. Robert's speech, overheard by Bennett construction employees at the wedding, sparked outrage. Female managers, already frustrated by Robert's dismissive attitude, began speaking out. Social media buzzed with clips of his remarks, shared by guests who'd recorded the event. Clients, particularly those with progressive values, were livid. Within weeks, a third of Bennett Construction's major contracts were cancelled, and half its top talent, mostly women, resigned, citing a toxic culture. Robert, true to form, refused to take responsibility. "They're overreacting," he barked in board meetings, blaming emotional women and woke clients. His defiance only deepened the crisis, with stock prices plummeting and the company teetering on collapse. Lucas, caught in the crossfire, was torn between loyalty to his father and his belief in a better way forward. One evening, 6 months after the wedding, Lucas and Mia arrived at Sarah's home, their faces etched with worry. Over coffee in Sarah's cozy kitchen, Lucas laid it bare. "Dad's company is in freefall," he said, his voice heavy. "I want to take over and rebuild. But I can't do it alone. Ms. Johnson, Sarah, I need your help." Sarah leaned back, studying him. Lucas was different from his father, thoughtful, respectful, and determined to right the wrongs. Mia chimed in, her voice earnest. "Mom, the women at Lucas's company were inspired by what you said at the wedding. They trust you. We think you can help turn things around." Sarah considered the request. Bennett Construction was a giant, but its wounds were self-inflicted. She could see a path forward, blending her service model with their building expertise. But she had terms. "I'll help," she said firmly, on 2 conditions. First, Robert steps down completely. Second, the company culture changes. No sexism. No bias. Every employee gets respect. Lucas nodded without hesitation. "That's what I want too." The battle to oust Robert was fierce. Lucas confronted his father, demanding he relinquish control. Robert exploded, calling Lucas a traitor, and blaming Sarah for poisoning his son. But the board, fed up with Robert's recklessness and facing mounting losses, had no patience left. Even Robert's older brother, a major shareholder, delivered the final blow. "It's over, Robert." Reluctantly, Robert resigned, citing health reasons. Though his bitterness lingered, Lucas was named CEO. And with Sarah and Mia by his side, the transformation began. Sarah dispatched a team of female managers from Johnson Home Solutions to lead cultural reforms at Bennett Construction. Their competence and empathy won over skeptics, fostering a new sense of trust. Mia, leveraging her business degree, redesigned the HR system, introducing flexible policies and leadership training. Her fresh perspective dismantled outdated practices, breathing life into the company. Sarah guided the strategic merger of services, creating a hybrid model that offered construction alongside home management solutions, a first in the industry. 6 months later, the results were staggering. Bennett Construction's revenue surged 150%, driven by new clients drawn to its inclusive reputation. Employee turnover plummeted, and the company attracted top talent, with women making up 30% of leadership roles. Industry publications hailed the turnaround as a case study in modern business, with Lucas and Sarah lauded as visionaries. One sunny afternoon, Lucas and Mia visited Sarah at her office, a sleek space filled with photos of Johnson Home Solutions' journey. "We hit 150% growth this quarter," Lucas said, grinning. "Turnover's down, and we're hiring like crazy, especially female engineers. Mia beamed. The job sites feel different now. Mom, people are happy. Sarah smiled, pride warming her chest. This is your work. Both of you. Not without you, Lucas said earnestly. How's Dad? Sarah asked, curious. Mia hesitated. We see him a few times a year, holidays. Mostly. He still won't admit he was wrong. Lucas nodded. We keep him at a distance. He's family, but he'll never touch the company again. Sarah understood. Some people couldn't change, no matter the cost. You two just keep building your future, she said, her voice warm. As they left, hand in hand, Sarah gazed out her window, reflecting. Robert Bennett had paid dearly for his prejudice. But Lucas and Mia had forged a better path. True worth, she knew, wasn't in wealth or titles, it was in dignity, respect, and the courage to rise. That was the legacy she'd fought for. And it was thriving.